Hi everyone and welcome to TEP Town Hall episode 6. So for this episode, as a follow-on from our last episode where we looked at some of the history of the expedition project and some of the things we've achieved over the last decade, for this episode we want to dive into some of the original projects that we visited on our very first expedition in 2012. So you may remember in 2012 we spent 250 days on the road and we visited 192 towns. And during that trip, we ended up meeting and speaking with and interviewing 101 different projects around South Africa. An absolutely amazing trip. It really laid the foundations for what the expedition project is today. So in this episode, what I wanted to do was look at some of those original interviews, some of those original meetings from that very first trip as we traveled around the perimeter of the country. So starting at Cape Town and ending in Cape Town, we went up the west coast of South Africa, all the way around the perimeter of the country, the top borders, bordering Namibia, Botswana, Zimbabwe, and then down past Kruger National Park, all the way back down to the east coast and back down to Cape Town, which took 250 days. So for the first little interview that I want to show you guys was on day number 32, and we were in Vredendal. Check this out.
We've just got to Vredendal North and we are at the church that we came to the other day, and we're just about to interview the woman who set up the Dorka programme. So I think she's in here with Rog, so we'll go and check it out.
We're here in Vredendal. It's 1st of February, so day 32 on the expedition project, and speaking here about the Dorka project. It's really something that needs to be spread around South Africa as much as possible, and the more of these projects that come about, it really is a tremendous benefit. So if you know of a project similar to this, or if you have one in your area, please let us know. So tell us a bit more about yourself, how you got into working with Dorkas, where it came from. Just give us a bit of a background.
Okay, the offices are here ver genoeg in Vredendal, and I'm staying close by. So in July of 2010, I started volunteering. So I kept the kids at school, but in the school holidays, I kept them busy with French knitting or peg knitting. And then in September of 2010, they had a vacancy for admin. So I came as an admin, and then in January of 2011, the coordinator resigned, and then they asked me to take the position. So I kept on in the position. Dorcas was started in 2000.
That's hilarious, don't worry.
I want to put it on silent.
That's funny.
Let me just put it on silent, it's annoying.
Okay. And tell us a bit about, what is Dorcas?
Okay, yeah, that's why I want to start with the 2003. Dorcas was started by church women and DOTS workers, HIV workers, because they saw the need in Vredendal North community is you need to take your medication with meals. And the poverty was so high, the people couldn't take their medication because they didn't have meals. So they started a sort of a soup kitchen to supply the patients with meals.
Okay.
And then we started getting funding, and then we registered as an MPO, and then we could apply for state funding. And we kept on with the soup kitchen, and in the meantime also tried life skills. We did pottery and beading with them.
Okay. And what do you think, what's the biggest success so far in the project? What's been working really well?
The feeding scheme is because you do get defaulters, but you do get people that you take them through their medication, especially the TB medications, that they get cured. Yes, but because the TB infection rate is so high, is that they do get reinfected. But you take them through it again, and so that's for us the success story is.
And why is a healthy diet and feeding TB patients so important?
A lot of them are also HIV positive, not all of them, but a lot is also HIV positive, and to keep their immune system high, then you won't get reinfected.
Yeah.
So if you're healthy, and we do awareness programs with them as well. AIDS awareness, and we want to start as well with the substance abuse, because that's also a big problem, alcohol and the drugs.
And how many people, how many patients and whatnot are you working with at the moment?
At the moment we've got 35, and we only work with clinic referrals. We're working together with Department of Health, hand in hand.
And plans for the future? Any ideas for Dorka?
Plans for the future, I would like to, with the out-of-school youth, because that's also a big problem in Vredendal, is to get programs running, to empower, say, 10. And then they can run programs in Vredendal North and get more youth to get involved. And then the other thing is also the OBC program. It's orphans and vulnerable children.
Okay.
We just finished the psychosocial. Because we take them through a program to help them to come to terms with their loss and grief. So that is for the future. And a little way within the future, we do have a piece of property in Vredendal North to get funding to build. We've got the plans. It's a work room for our life skills, and then a dining room. I would so love for the people to come sit down and eat their meals there with us, but we haven't got the facilities at the moment. And then we also have a sort of hospice. So when they're on their last, that they can come and die in dignity. So that is also future plan.
So next up, we jump to day 51, where we were up at the top left corner of South Africa, very close to the Namibian border, and we're in Steinkopf. And one of the first places we visited there was the Ubuntu Center. So check it out.
We're here in Steinkopf. It's Monday the 20th of February, World Social Justice Day actually. We're here at the Ubuntu Center, which is an education and food center for the local community. Let's go and check it out. Here's where they prepare the food, the daily food. What kind of meals and stuff do you feed the community here? What kind of... What you got? Let's have a look. Got curry biryani, got chicken, and veggies, pasta, fish and rice, fantastic. And then in here, the social development centre where they eat and also where they have some education. What sort of stuff do they learn about here? Okay.
Children abuse, women abuse, all that kind of stuff.
Fantastic.
They educate the people.
Fantastic. There you have it.
Next up, while still in Steinkopf on day 51, we popped into to visit a local school to check that out, and then also speak to some of the teachers over there. Have a look at this.
Here we are at the only little creche in Steinkopf. Adorable little kids. Let's go and check it out. See what facilities they have. Yes. Oh, it's lunchtime.
Hello.
Hoeveel kinders? 91. So you've got 91 kids. How many teachers do you have? 3. Isn't that hard work? No, not too bad. Oh, yeah. And do the kids listen to you? If there are only 3 teachers and 91 kids.
Yes, but they are different class.
Okay. And what ages do you work with?
3 to 4 years.
3 to 4 years. Okay. And any example of some of the things that they learn or you teach them? Any kind of programs you got going? Or is it? Okay. And examples of that? What sort of stuff? What's their favorite thing to do?
They like to sing,
Sing. Yeah.
play,
Yeah.
and dance.
Oh, nice.
Please come find the teacher.
That's so cute with the...
Then in day 52, as we were sort of just finishing up our time in Steinkopf, we took a drive with some of the team of Koi Roy Koi. And they are part of a youth and women's development program. And they were telling us a little bit about what they what they do there. So have a look at this.
So tell us a bit about the difference between living in Steenkop 20 years ago and now.
Okay, I was born in 1957. Yesterday. Yeah, I was born in 1957 in this hamlet. So there was only three. At that stage, there was only three houses built with stone. And then this kind of huts in Steenkop. One a primary school and a high school, but there was not a lot of houses. Maybe 70 or 80 houses here in town. With one shop. That shop right now it was a corporation. So yeah. It was.
Yeah, develop a lot.
It developed a lot.
Yeah.
So for the main change you've seen is development. Anything else? What's the social change been like?
The social change, of course, they brought us a lot of education. So our kids are well educated.
Okay.
Some of them in Australia, some of them in England, some of them in all the African countries and so on. And
Okay.
yeah.
And the municipality between then and now?
Yeah, the problem is that the people that doesn't understand because they are coming from a rural area and they're coming from this traditional land. So they don't understand
Municipality all about.
You can just stand here first and we can go this side.
And the last thing, has the environment changed much? Has it got hotter? Has it got colder?
Definitely hotter.
Hotter and drier.
And drier,
Okay.
definitely.
Okay. Thank you.
So next up, we jump all the way to day 101, where we went all the way across now to the central top part of South Africa, right on the Botswanan and Zimbabwe-South African borders. So 3-point sort of border post over there in a town called Alldays. And we met with one of our favorites, the Mogalakwena Craft Arts Centre. So let's have a look at this.
We're here at the Mogalakwena Arts and Crafts Centre. Tell us exactly what it is that you're doing here and what the process is.
The main aim is to create employment for people living in the villages. There aren't many employment opportunities. So to be able to do that, we bead, we embroider, we sew, we weave and create products and also find markets for those products. So over here, Lisa Nweki is busy with a scatter cushion with animals on them. So show them, Lisa. Around because we're getting ready for the hunting season.
Okay.
This area is a very big hunting season. And then while the hunters hunt, the women want to shop.
Beautiful.
So this is a scatter cushion.
Okay. Where would the biggest market be for something like that other than hunters? Would that get sent overseas?
Well, to Cape Town, we have a head office, a textiles and textures centre and a gallery in Cape Town where we work with shop owners, retailers, and also with collectors, and people come and purchase there.
Okay.
Yeah.
And now we jump to day 124. We were sort of around the Acorn Hook and Hoedspruit area where we met with Sarah from Nourish and spent quite a bit of time with Nourish there. Let's have a look at this from some of Nourish's work with some of their local schools. So that was just spending a morning with that local school and then handing out some teddies, as you can see there. Next up, still with Nourish, we did a very special tree planting. Have a look at this. So now we've reached the East Coast and we're traveling down the East Coast and we jump to day 180 where we speak to a local about the advancements and the expansion of surfing in South Africa, particularly in this East Coast town of Hibudine in KwaZulu-Natal.
I've definitely seen an increase of black surfers, especially amongst the South Coast. Mostly lifeguards, but a lot of younger kids as well. The government's doing a lot of promotion for it. So yeah, like almost anywhere you go, there are like every lifeguard surfs, or like a lot of my friends from home started surfing because they hung out, and I mean surfing's such a cool sport that if you see someone do it, you want to start, and once you start, you're hooked. So that's my reason for it.
Now, while still in Hebridean on day 180, we went to meet with the team at Tanda Aftercare to hear about some of the things that they do. Have a look here.
Hi, I'm Tyler. We're here at Tanda After School here in rural Ntulumi, KZN, South Africa. We're an after-school program for basically kids from grade R all the way up to grade 12. And we work with the kids, helping them to kind of make plans for their future, helping them with their self-esteem, and really helping them to kind of be ready to be good citizens for the future. So yeah, that's basically what we're about here.
And now, while still obviously on the East Coast, we move on to Port St. John's, where we met with a local youth centre and all the amazing work that they do. Have a look here.
Hey guys, this is Port St. John's Youth Center. My name is Solomon. Basically what we do here is to just allow the children to come and study and do their work, and also a place where they can just come and chill and learn more about themselves and build their self-esteem. So this is a nice place to be.
Now, while at the Port St. John's Youth Centre, we popped in to speak to some of their beneficiaries to talk to them a little bit about careers.
Tell me a bit about what sort of careers you'd like to follow in the future.
Become a doctor or someone in health.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I'd like to go.
Why did you decide on that?
Why? I remember when the time when a friend of mine asked me the question is, what will you do? What you're going to do? Will it help the world, or will it only help yourself? So I decided that I'll only do help, because I'll be able by then to help people. You know?
So now we're on day 206, and we're in the famous town of Grahamstown. And one of the first places that we went to go and visit was Project Read. Let's hear what they have to say.
My name is Penson Lodra. I assist running Project Read, which is a literacy program here in Grahamstown. What we essentially do, we're working with 3 primary schools and 2 preschools, where we essentially assess the kids. We don't work with the strongest kids, nor do we work with the weakest kids. We're looking at the middle band, and not the middle band, maybe the slightly weaker ones there. So we work with them, teaching them how to read, teaching them how to write, things like that. We have plus minus 50 volunteers spread across evenly. Each volunteer gets an hour working with 2 kids. Yeah, that's what we do.
And next up, while still in Grahamstown on day 206, we met with the HCDP Trust. So let's hear what they do and what they've been up to.
Okay, here at the Laboratory Centre we have 3 projects: the Little Red Dragon Preschool, an aftercare enrichment program for vulnerable children, and our comprehensive literacy outreach program. Our Little Red Dragon, we focus on quality rather than quantity, because we believe that's one of the reasons why the government schools really battle, because they've got huge numbers in the classroom, and it's very difficult for the teacher to really control and also just work with the individual children. So we have small numbers at the preschool, and therefore really want to make sure that the children have had the best quality education to prepare them and be ready for grade 1. Our vulnerable children program is, we have 15 children on the program, and once again, rather the quality, and they have a structured program, and music, we have a partnership with Kingswood, and the children go there for music lessons, and it's really a very exciting program. In terms of our literacy program, we work with the 3 schools in our area, and that basically has got 2 arms, working with the current literacy issues of children from grade R to grade 3, and then the preventative arm, which works with the parents, and it's a specific homeschool parenting program, the WordWorks literacy program that we work with, as well as with the Shine, literacy program, and we really have had wonderful results. And the main thing is that people from the community are coming to us and saying that their children have got problems with literacy and could we help them. I think the main other reason, or what we really want to create, is hope for the people and the children in the community, that there will be a better future for them.
Now, not far from Grahamstown, we then moved on to a small little community village called Patterson, and this was on day 207, where we spoke to the Isipo Multi-Purpose Centre, which is linked to Amakhala Reserve and the Amakhala Foundation. Let's have a look at this.
Jennifer is part of the team that helped to craft it. It took place last year. We went door to door in the community. I haven't forgotten about you. We went door to door in the community, asked people what they thought of the center, thought of where it should go in the future. And so we came up with a new vision. We want to be the leader in this community against the fight against HIV and AIDS and the negative socioeconomic effects of the disease. We do it through uniting, involving, and engaging the community through mobilization, organization, and empowerment. And then we have 9 goals that we're pursuing as an organization. We want to develop sustainable policies, train our board and staff, develop a financial strategy, act as a place of learning for all community members, be an advocate for our community in terms of government services, work with orphans and vulnerable children, provide nutritious meals and material support to HIV-infected and affected community members, provide home-based community care, and support people living with HIV and AIDS and orphans and vulnerable children support groups to be their own independent organizations. So this allowed us to sort of see where we want to go with our organization in the future.
And now, day 217, we're in the famous surfing town of Jeffreys Bay, one of the best surfing waves in the world. And in this particular town, we spoke to the Taste Punt Alliance about some of their concerns and what they do.
Okay. Basically, the Taste Punt Alliance was formed because we were facing an uphill battle against Eskom, who wants to build a nuclear power station in an area that really cannot withstand an industrial development of that size. So what we did as NGOs, we got together as civil society, and we formed an alliance. Basically all the residents, civics associations, a lot of the environmental NGOs, very importantly the Gamkwakoi San Council, because for them from a heritage perspective this site is like the Holy Grail. And what we did is we addressed what Eskom gave us in the environmental impact report. It is not just about nuclear. It is about placing an industrial development of this size in an area or on a place that shouldn't have an industrial development. And we then went to specialists to consult with them with regards to the input that we received from Eskom in the environmental impact report. It's very clear from our own specialists that they're really trying to fit a round ball to a square hole. You are sitting on the last headland bypass dune system, functioning headland bypass dune system in southern Africa. We've got an amazing system in the Sand River system, which is not just wind-driven dunes, it's water-driven dunes as well. And then you're sitting on a possible UNESCO World Heritage Site, should be the coastal cradle of humankind. Very clear from the Klaasies River caves, that's just about 25 kilometers from here, that this is where modern human man came from. So for us there's quite a few things that's vitally important. Also from a social perspective, if you put a massive development like that in an area that is at the moment collapsing when you look at infrastructure, you're just making it worse, and there's no sustainability in it.
And now moving on to day 2020, we've come down towards the Plettenberg Bay in the Garden Route area, and we're in the community just outside of Plettenberg Bay called Kranshoek, and talking about some of their community projects. Have a look at this.
Some of the questions we've got here in Kranshoek, especially at the National Krikwa Development Center now, we've got a fruit and veg going where we plant African West to sustain. We've got elderly program here. We feed them. Bonita's selling some of the veggies to the community in Kranzuk. We've got the abortion going. He's working with top interior decorators from town. And also we've got the nursery coming within the next 2 months. And then in Kranzuk, we've got the honey farm, which is very successful. They're exporting to Germany. And we're busy with really to market it in plate to all the bed and breakfast. And then we've got the alien plant clearing project that's going on, where we work together with Green Ticket. They're going to do the clearing of aliens, and then also we're going to plant indigenous plants back into the township.
And as we move away from Plettenberg Bay past Knysna, we come to Sedgefield, a sort of less known town. It's sort of Knysna's sister town, but amazing village. And in this case, we spoke to Sedgefield's Masathan Downey, where they do a lot of empowerment and entrepreneurial projects, and in this case, some crafts as well. But let's hear what they have to say.
I'm Patricia. I'm in charge of the Masathan Downey Mosaic Job Creation and Tourism Project. We have been going for 5 years. We brought people in from the community that have either been ill, have other kind of emotional, social problems, and they come in and they start working with us to try and get them back onto track. They come in quite ill and they are taken. It's a holistic process. We look at the whole thing. We look at what they need to get in terms of medicines, in terms of emotional support. They get a plate of food every day, they get veggies, fresh veggies every week, and it's a very important process for us that it is a holistic process and not just a job that they come to and earn a little bit of money. They don't earn money, they're not regarded as employees, they're regarded purely as volunteers that come in and help create a project, and then they get commissions from that.
Next up, day 227 out of 250. We're almost back in Cape Town, still moving our way down the East Coast. Just a little bit inland. We went to Helderberg and met with the skating farm to hear some of the sort of the stuff that they do on their farm. Let's check it out.
The farm focus on a minimum tillage and a crop conservation program. That means we've got a 5 years program of. We will start the first year after Lucerne, which is a nitrogen fixing plant. After that first year after Lucerne, we will plant the wheat. Then we will go to rapeseed or canola, as the Canadians call it. And after the canola, we will go back to barley. From the barley, we will go into wheat again. And after wheat, we'll go to coriander. So we never plant the same plant year after year. We alternate. And we keep on rotating it, and that's very healthy for the soil, it's very healthy for the plants, and it builds up the fertility of the soil.
So that was Heidelberg, the skating farm. Next up, we've got day 235, only an hour outside of Cape Town now, and we're in the famous whale town of Hermanus, but it's not all about conservation there. They do some amazing community projects, and we met with Learn to Earn. Let's have a look at this.
Learn to Earn here in Hermanus. Has been running for about 15 years. Our policy is a hand up, not a hand out, and we try to help the people emotionally, socially, spiritually and economically. So when they're finished doing their courses here, that they'll be able to start their own business or at least have an income. And we do try and place them when the opportunity does arise, but we are not a placement facility. We have many students coming through here, but it's not only us, it's our branch in Khayelitsha and our head office in Claremont as well. We also have the TFG store in Claremont, and we all do training. And yes, we have many success stories. We also have ECube division, where we are training people to run their own business, and we walk a 1,000-day journey with them, and then we feel that they will be sustainable after that. And we just try and support and train the people as much as we can. We are a non-profitable organisation, and we do rely on a lot of donations from people. So there is people that do donate finances to us, which keeps us running and helps us to train the people.
So that was it. That was just a selection of some of the projects that we met with on that first trip in 2012 and some of the interviews and some of the time we spent with them. I hope you enjoyed that little look back into some of that. A lot of these projects are still available on our website, so you can find out more. So do go and have a little look. And tune in next time when we'll be speaking about some of the conservation projects that we met with during that first year in 2012. Thanks so much for joining us, and we'll see you next time. Thanks, everyone. Bye.